What's good, YouTube? This is Boxingwave, and we're going to keep these recaps going. We got a few more to go, and I'm doing them all in order. So, Jared Anderson gets stopped by Martin Bakole in the fifth round in a fight that I believe was the best fight of the night. As far as action, I thought this was the most action-packed fight. It was the shortest fight, but it was the most action-packed fight in the main card. And sometimes I see you guys are going back to the breakdown video I did. Everyone's going back to that fight. I mean, that breakdown. Some people want to go back and give me props on being right, but some people want to go back to see who I picked because I'm a Black American boxing channel and I'm a big fan of Jared Anderson. So I know a lot of you went back to see what I said. And no, I was right. I was on point, but sometimes you don't want to be on point. Like I said on the live commentary, and shout out to you guys that was there. Sometimes you want to be wrong. Even if your money is up, sometimes you want to be wrong. And I wish I was wrong. I wish Jared Anderson pulled through and showed us a different side like Jose Valenzuela did in his fight. And I will do a recap on that fight as well. But Jared Anderson, what he did for me is at least he showed heart. I think a lot of people felt that he would crumble and fold under pressure, and he didn't do that. I think he showed a lot of heart, but strategically, I thought he needed to fight a different type of fight, a fight that I haven't seen him fight before in order to win this fight. I'm not going to sit here and pull anything out of my ass and say like, yo, he got to move like this and he has to slip punches and counter like this. If I've never seen you do it like that, I'm not going to sit here and predict for you to do it. And sometimes, yes, a fighter can improve and do different things in camp and work on different things and change coaches and teams and stuff. And we can see a huge difference, again, like in the Rayo fight with Pitbull. But most of the time, we don't see it. And Jared Anderson, with all of the heart, he let his hands go. He landed a lot of punches. He did what he normally does. But Martin Bakole, again, if you've seen him fight, man, big man with fast hands, good counter puncher, good timing, and it had a reach advantage. It was too much. It's too much for Anderson, and this is the first time he fought someone that was bigger, that much bigger than him, that had the skills in order to neutralize him and had the durability, proven to have durability. Again, we know that he's been stopped before, all right? But it is a stipulation to the stoppage. And when you have a shoulder injury in a fight and you continue fighting for so long, Michael Hunter stopped him. But at the end of the day, the man was getting punched all fight long and went to war with this guy. And he's shown us that he's very durable. Very, very durable fighter. And I just think overall it was just too much. I'm going to give you a list that's at some point in this video of fighters that I want to see both fighters fight in the future. And hopefully Anderson don't let this loss derail him, because Bakole has lost before too and he's come back. But out of all of the fighters that he could step up and fight, and he's getting close up there to being a contender, a top contender, I thought this was one of the worst ones. Because I think Bakole style-wise was just too much, as we saw in the fight. I think Bakole, he's just too dangerous right now, and it sucks it had to be him. It could have been Zhang, it could have been White, it could have been Caballel, it could have been, anybody, Joseph Parker. Bakole was just all wrong from Jared Anderson, because the criticisms in his style, the defensive flaws of Jared Anderson, and him being hurt a couple times by Charles Martin, even though he won that fight, it's the way that he won, him being buzzed a couple times again, even in a 2-round knockout win against Jerry Forrest. And I was there for that fight. And like I said to you guys, he gets hit with a good shot, he starts letting his hands go more. And sometimes you need to regroup. You need to move, use the ring a little bit. You know what I mean? Just reset yourself. And Jared Anderson, in his first knockdown, in the first round, I think the moment in the first round when he went southpaw, I thought he was doing good. He started to connect continuously, but he got caught with a good shot. I believe it was a hook, and then he went to respond. He threw. This is where he should have regrouped. Instead, he came in, leaned in. Maybe I think he might have been setting up this to throw something, but he leaned his head too far forward, and Bakole landed a monster uppercut. Kind of remind me of Dillian White and Povetkin 1. And put him down, and he was badly hurt. I'll give him credit. He recovered in the second round, but he was badly hurt in that first round. And to be honest, if this had happened earlier in the round, at least 30 seconds, a minute earlier, Bakole might have stopped him in the first round. That's how bad he was hurt, But, he recovered, he got up, and he came back in the second round again. Jared, as far as landing punches, he was landing them, but it had no effect on Bakole. Too durable, and every 5 punches Jared Anderson would land, it only took one for Bakole we can all see who had the more effective punches. It is what it is. And it's part of the reason why he lost the fight. Again, action-packed fight, but leaning back. And I've seen him defensively, I've seen him dodge shots in different ways in this fight. So it's not like he was just leaning back. But again, he was leaning back when he got stopped in the 5th round. Bakole caught him with a shot in the 5th round. He looked like he was out of it. I think Anderson at this point was just showing heart. And just trying not to get stopped. But even in the 5th round, you can just see the snap on his punches was differently. He couldn't get out of the way of any of the punches. Bakole was just too much of a monster too soon for that kind of step up. Too dangerous. And a fighter that many people are believing that he's trying to, that'll avoid him. And if these sparring stories are true, of him basically beating everybody in sparring, this was just too much. It was too much too soon. I hope Anderson comes back, because I still I'd love to see him against other fighters. You know what I mean? But defensively, I think that's where we gotta go with him. I think he needs to fight smarter. Sometimes it's not just about your ability; it's about the mental part. And he's just been too reckless throughout his career to win this kind of fight. All right, moving forward, Bakole, names that I would love to see him fight right now. I think Bakole is ready for a top fight right now against anyone. We know the belts are all on the line with Fury and Usyk rematch. So we're not going to talk about those fights. We're not going to talk about fights that are already in the works. Another championship fight between Joshua and Triple D. So just leave those guys out of it. But I would leave. I put up 5 names here. Ajay Kabayel, in a fight that I think would be dangerous for Bakole, because Kabayel can punch, he can counter, and even though he's shorter than some of the top heavyweights, doesn't have the longest reach, but I think he has the skills, the durability, and just the mental strength in order to challenge a guy like Bakole right now. All right, he's coming off of 2 phenomenal stoppages, and I think that would be an excellent fight. That's my number 1 for Bakole right now. But I would obviously love to see a Joseph Parker fight, a Zhilei Zhang fight, another big man with fast hands. I would think Bakole to win that fight because of the volume. The engine is just too high for a Zhang. Dillian White, I know he's trying to get back in the mix, but that would be a great fight as well. And a Michael Hunter too, avenge that loss. I know Michael Hunter is kind of not really been at the top in as far as performances recently, but it wouldn't be a bad fight if they were to have a rematch. For Jared Anderson, I'm gonna say Deontay Wilder. I would say it. I know Wilder is coming off a couple of losses, got stopped, but he still has a name. And Anderson coming off his first stoppage loss, why not? 2 American fighters, why not? Jared Miller, you know, the battle of the two big babies. They had some words exchanged at the press conference. Big Baby actually in one of his recent post fight interviews, I believe it was with Fight Hub TV. Probably the best interview I've ever heard of Jared Anderson, not Jared Anderson, Jared Miller. Sent them a message, you know, a positive one. I thought it was a great message, but I would still love to see that fight. Battle of the two big babies. I would love to see that. I would love to see Dillian White as well. You know, Fabio Wardley is a name that I wanted to see back maybe a couple years ago with Jared Anderson because I felt like they were moving at the same pace. It's just that Wardley's out from, you know, he's from London. You know, he's from the UK or whatever. So I felt like they were both moving in the same direction at the same time. And I know Wardley got fish to fry with in a rematch against Frazier. So I know that's not in the talks right now, but that would be a good fight to me, you know, for Fabio Wardley if he is to beat Frazier in a rematch. And Otto Wallin, you know, I saw his name on a box rack. You know, we already know where he's been. Gave Fury one of his toughest fights. You know, beat a couple good fighters. Lost, got dominated by AJ, but still a fight that I would like to see. You know, I think that's a fight that would improve on your skills. So those are some good names for Anderson, all right? But yeah, best fight of the night. Again, Anderson still has work to do. Hopefully, he has the mental strength to bounce back. But on a step-up fight, I thought this was one of the most dangerous fights that he could possibly have right now in his career. And it showed in that ring that night. Still a good fight, but I think he could bounce back if he wants to. All right? Big fan still. It's not going to change how I feel about him in any way. I like both of these fighters. You know, Bakole, I'm even more of a fan of him now that he beat one of my favorite up-and-coming fighters, you know. But it is what it is, man. I think if anybody's seen him fight before, I think it was pretty obvious where this fight was going to go. All right, so I hope, shout out to you guys that made money on my prediction for this fight. Please subscribe to the channel, smash it, hit the thumbs up, and share the video if you could. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.